Our Highline Voices, 106.5 KQWZ LPFM.
Connecting Highline and our region.
History, cultural heritage, art, performances, contemporary pop culture.
We collect, preserve, and tell the stories of the Highline region and its people.
We want to embrace our differences and similarities.
We want to extend our mission outside the walls of the museum. Our Highline Voices, 106.5 KQWZ LPFM.
Hi everyone, this is Nancy from the Highline Heritage Museum and welcome back. Today we have a very special guest. I know that I always say that we got somebody special, but I think that all of us are in one way or another. I cannot wait for her to share her story, to let us know who she is, to be able to hear, get a little peek of the work that she does. And I don't know, just super excited to have her here with us tonight. So why are we doing this project? It's exactly for that reason, to connect, to know, to see who is our neighbors, who is our friends, who is, the person across the street, and the idea of to connect to on a level that is not just, it's a business or it's an institution, but quite the opposite, connect as a human beings. And so the idea is for us to share everyone's stories that doesn't have to stay inside the walls of the museum. Quite the opposite. It's a project for everyone to express, to enjoy, to take. So thank you once again for joining us today. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Before we start, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to interview you and to just even save your story for history.
Yeah.
And just keep it in our collection. So once again, thank you. And we are ready. So would you mind telling us who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name is Alicia Olsen, and I own Paper Delights, which is just one block down in Burien. And I've had the store for 18 years.
Wow.
We opened in Wallingford in 2008. Actually, I'm sorry, it'll be 17 years this coming March.
Okay.
So my mom and I opened it, and I wanted to have a baby, and the work that I was doing wasn't going to be good for having a family. So my mom and I were, I was living in Southern California at the time, and we were just kind of like sitting outside and we were drinking a bottle of wine, and we were like, what if we were just dreaming about what if we opened a shop and I could bring the baby to work every day and it'd be so much fun, and we could buy anything, cute stuff and cute cards and gifts. And so we were just like kind of dreaming about this. And then we were just like, well, what if we just try? What if we just start and just kind of see how it goes? So then I told my neighbor that we were thinking about selling our house, and she said, I'll buy it.
Oh, wow.
And so we're like, okay, you want to buy our house? So that just kind of like helped us, think like, okay, well, this is possible because we could sell our house. Because this was around October of 2007.
Ooh, right before.
Right before
Uh-huh.
the economy took up,
Yeah.
and houses, you couldn't sell houses back then. So
Yeah.
we just got out right before that happened. And then we moved up here, and I actually was pregnant. And so then we were building out the store, and I was pregnant, and, and I quit my job, and it was kind of a scary time. Like, what am I, this was such a big leap. What am I doing? And then I did have the baby, and he's 16 years old now. And, so we brought him into work every day, and I wouldn't really recommend it.
I hear you.
A lot easier said than done. It's just, babies, they're just like a lot of work. And so I tried and I did it, and it was, how they just cry right at the moment where you're like trying to help a customer. And so that was hard. But thankfully I was doing it with my mom, so she could, kind of deal with take a lot more of the, help me and stuff. And then my husband and I were living in Shoreline at that point, and my mom was here in Burien.
Okay.
So Wallingford was kind of a midway point for the two of us. But then a couple years later, I wanted to have another kid because I was like, oh, we should have another one for. So 2 years later, I had my other son, and I was like, I need to be by my mom. I need to live by my mom. So that brought us to Burien. And because I was like, I can't raise two kids. My husband's a commercial fisherman, so he leaves every summer. And I'm like, I can't have two kids by myself. I
Yeah.
need to be closer to my mom. So, anyways, we bought a house in Burien, and then traffic got really bad with the viaduct coming down. And so driving to Wallingford, which used to be really quick, got terrible, 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 terrible. So we kind of were like, maybe we should try having a little store in Burien, just see how it does. And so we had a little spot right near St. Francis, and it was really like a tiny little closet. And at that time, we were doing a lot of like wedding invitations and, shower invitations and stationery. So we were printing a lot of our own stuff. So that gave us a way to work in Burien, and we didn't have to drive all the way to Wallingford. And then a couple years later, so fast forward to 2020, and our lease was up in Wallingford, and our landlord said, okay, we're going to raise your rent. And we were like, we can't, it was already crazy expensive. We were like, we can't afford that. And so we said, would you want to negotiate? Would you be willing to, not raise our rent? And he said, no, I am raising it. And so we said, okay, if you're not, then so we had to tell all our employees that we had to close because we couldn't afford it. And so we closed. And it was actually my mom's idea. She said, what if we only have our shop in Burien? And we, at that point, had moved to the bigger location that we're at now, which is on the corner. So, but she said, what if we put all of our energy into that shop and we close Wallingford? And then she said, I will leave it up to you. You can decide. But she said, I think we could make more money if we just had Burien. And so I was like, but I had raised my kids at that shop, and I was like, this is my first shop. It's my baby. I can't possibly close this shop. We could probably afford the more rent. And so I had to kind of think about it for a while, like, oh, what should we do? What should we do? And so I said, okay, let's close that shop. And so it was sad, but it was the right thing to do because a couple months later, the pandemic happened. And so we were like so thankful that we closed. So we closed January 31st of 2020, just like with the skin on our teeth.
You got somebody behind you. Because this is like too much of two of those things.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So then we have an awesome landlord who is Dan House, who owns the Tin Room and Dan the Sausage Man. And so he was just so lovely to work with us during the pandemic and, helped us keep going because, it's hard to shut down a business for a couple months, but still pay all the bills.
Oh, yeah.
So we were really lucky to have him. And so we would kind of like be open on weekends and, have a table and just kind of try to help people. But for those 3 months where we had to be closed, it was hard, But I feel like we just kept going and kept trying new things. And is what really the pandemic taught us was to subtract a lot of the things we were doing. So we stopped doing wedding invitations. We stopped doing stationery. We stopped doing all custom work. We stopped teaching classes. We stopped, and a lot of it was sad, but yet it was taking a lot of our energy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really, we weren't having the financial gain from those things. They were just taking a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so it changed the business, but it's kind of like a wildfire. Like it's sad, but it helped us grow.
Good.
In the end. It really was a good thing because now we don't do a lot of things like wholesale. We used to sell to other stores. We used to sell cards to other stores and, just so many things like that, that now we just focus on having a business. And so it's actually kind of
Better.
better. Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing. I love the unexpected.
Yeah.
That I think that if I knew your story before, I'd probably be asking you questions, but because this is the first time I'm hearing it,
Yeah.
is first of all, yes, well, you have an amazing angel right behind you, just like
Yeah.
preventing you from, those financial crises,
Yes.
and either with your house or your business. And
Yeah.
then I love the story of you and your mom. I don't know why, maybe because I'm a woman, but I feel that empowerment through a very loving project, because it
Yeah.
comes out of love. It comes out of not only the your kids grow up in the store, but it's like this beautiful family who's just
Yeah.
just adapting, changing, and modifying things as the time comes
Yeah.
to you. That is very beautiful. I love
Yes.
that relationship that you
Yes.
have with your family, and how you
Yes.
support on each other.
Yeah.
And so
It
it's
is, I do have to tell you, it is super sad. She passed away
okay.
in July of 23. So it's like such a sad part of the story, but also like, I want to make it beautiful for her. I
Mhm.
want to keep it going because I know she would want that. So I was like, I got to tell you before.
Before I keep saying more things.
I'm
Before I
like,
keep
I
saying.
should tell you.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
I still think it's the same thing. I don't think
Yes.
it matters whether it
Yes.
is something is part of this a story that will never change.
Yeah.
It's something that will always stay there.
Yes.
And it is
Yeah.
something that was still with a lot of love. And I
Yeah.
think now she is your angel. Now
Yeah.
she's gonna be looking. Now I know where you're coming.
Yeah.
Now I'm taking that role, and it's just moving forward.
Yeah.
It still is very inspirational. I
Yeah.
think that the idea of having a project born out of love. I mean, there's been many projects I've seen throughout the years where it comes out of, you know, not so much as a loving
Yeah.
energy to it.
Yeah.
And yours, it seems like it comes like that.
Yeah, it
And
was
it's
a passion project. It was something we wanted to do, and it helped our family. Like, I never had to have my kids in daycare, or I never had to have them be away from me because I could do a lot of it from home. And, having my mom, she was like, she did 90% of it while the kids were little because, as you know, like two little boys, they were like terrorists in the store. So for a while there, I couldn't do anything because, I'm just trying to keep them alive, basically. And so my mom, like, basically ran the business, but she, like, that's kind of in our DNA because when I was 6, she started a rubber stamp company.
okay, so that is the
Yes.
seed of it.
So when she owned that with another partner, another mom, who they just kind of wanted a business that they could raise kids with. And my mom's big thing was she always wanted to be able to pick us up from school and to be able to have a family dinner. That was like her big thing.
Yeah.
So she always did that. Like she always was there for our, sports games and everything, but she was running a really successful business. In the 80s, like rubber stamps were really big, and she had 4 stores. She had
Wow.
one in Bellevue Square, U Village, Westlake Center, and then they had a really big store near South Center. And then they did tried different things throughout the years, but she probably had that store for like 20 years. So I just kind of was raised
Mhm.
around having stores and being in malls and, just kind of that culture of family business. And,
Mhm.
we were just always doing whatever it took, whether it's taking out the garbage or remodeling stores or pricing stuff or putting stuff out, or that's just kind of always been my life. It's just
One,
stores.
I'm sorry to interrupt. One important piece that we have not shared, and since
Yeah.
she is a big part of the heart of
Yeah.
this project, what was her name?
Oh, Kathy Perkins.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so I think that her legacy and her presence,
Yeah.
it is still evident in
Yeah.
you in many ways, and is through you, it's a pleasure to meet your mom.
Yeah.
And I think that as you're sharing this story with a lot more people, you letting everyone else know who she is too. And I think it's beautiful. And I'm not only get to meet you, but I also see the inspiring story of a really strong woman pushing through business and the business field, and not only one, but like pushing it through many different areas.
Yes.
And it is great that you have the seed, the foundation, and now you see it implemented. And I cannot wait to see how that is influenced with your kids, with your sons.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are guys, they're not girls. But
Different,
it's still they have that foundation, and then I see how that gets expressed through the careers that they choose, and then the partners that they have, and the family dynamics.
Yeah.
No, I think that, for me, is I'm meeting your mom and through you, and then it's beautiful, and it's just great. I like how inspirational that is.
Oh,
I
thank
like
you.
how in a way she also is teaching you to adapt to the situations.
Yeah.
And is not the fastest or the strongest that survives the jungle.
Yeah.
Is the one that adapts the most to the
Uh-huh.
situations. And seems like that's one of the things that as you sharing with us, I can see that how you've been adapting to the different ways in adapting to crisis and adapting to the things. So for the ones, not everyone might know all about your business. So for the ones that don't know all the details of your business, what do you offer there?
Okay, well, I like to solve a problem for myself. And the problem that I have sometimes is, a friend has a birthday and I'm like, what should I get them?
Mhm.
And, a lot of people, we have friends or family members where you want to show them love. You want to get them a present, but you also want it to be meaningful and useful or beautiful. You don't want to spend a ton of money, but you want to show them love. And
Mhm.
so that's what I try to solve for myself and for my customers is that you can come into my store and find something, whether you want to spend $5 or $100 or a couple hundred, is that you can find something, hopefully, that you could give to somebody else that will brighten their day, that will be useful to them, that will be beautiful, and so to make it easy to show your love to somebody. And so I try to buy stuff that I want that I think is, useful. Like we sell a lot of candles or,
Mhm.
soap, lotion, just stationery, stuff that's not going to clutter your house, but be actually useful. Or, like we sell a ton of greeting cards. And I personally don't like a ton of writing inside the greeting card. I like the person to be able to write because that's what is going to be meaningful to that person is what you wrote, not just you signing your name. Like, a lot of Hallmark cards, it's like people, they buy them because they say something nice inside, but it's not really heartfelt because you didn't write it. So our greeting cards are all pretty much blank inside because the person that gets it is going to it's meaningful what you say.
No, I love that. I love that. It's something that I keep telling. And now that we just finished the holiday season, I keep telling my daughters, like, it's not about the present. It's about why and how and the message behind it. And I think that that's what people get more attached to it. I think anyone can just sign a name and call it a day, but like the idea of passing the message and that love, like you said, see, there's many different ways that you work it one way or another. It's about giving love and people receiving love.
It is.
And so it's you, it's your mom, it's your family, and so no, I think it's still the same one way or another in a different
it's all
perspective.
about
The
love.
light is still there and it's still the same in a different format, but the heart is still kicking. And so I know that you are sensitive and emotional right now. And I hope that you see that with a lot of respect. I feel you and I see you, but I see the light so much. Such a beautiful light.
Oh,
And
thank you.
and so no, I am just in awe and in being able to share with everyone a little bit more about you and your family. And I don't know. And I think that when somebody is giving so much, whoever receives not only feels the person who is writing the letter, but also the special magical energy that gets attached to it. I think your energy is attached to everything that you're
Oh,
selling. And so I
thank
think that
you.
they whoever so you better check out her business. You better go over there and feel that the extra magic that you can feel, and that you can also give that to others, especially to your loved ones. So we have a few more minutes still. But before I get too distracted, can you share us again your location so people can know, everyone will
Yes.
know? So
Yeah.
where exactly you're located, your office hours, also the how people can connect you if they have questions for you.
Yeah, sure. So we're located on 152nd and 9th Avenue. And we are open 7 days a week now, and we are open 10 to 5 every day. And if you have questions, people can email me. It's just info@paperdelights.com. So that's easy. But yeah, we're now open every day, which makes it nice for people. Um, so yeah, and then I don't know if you know, we just doubled in size
So
too. Yeah.
how you feel with the transition?
I feel really good. It was, scary to take on more of everything, more costs associated with it. Um, so that was scary, but now I feel really good about it. I'm in a place where I'm like, okay, this is good.
Good.
Yeah.
And so you just did this transition,
November 1st, we opened the doubly
double
big. Yeah,
So now you're starting the year in a way that is completely renewing.
it is.
My parents have this phrase. There is like you have to renew yourself. It's like water. You have to be like water, running constantly. If you get stuck and doing the same thing in a way, the water gets stale.
Yeah.
And so you need to continually renew yourself and refresh yourself. So this is a great way of refreshing your
Yes.
soul and be
Yes.
creative and be what else you can do.
Uh-huh.
I think that I don't know. I'm really optimistic that you're gonna be great, and
Thank
you're
you.
already great.
Thank you.
I've
Thank
been
you.
to your store a few times, and I really love it. So
Oh,
it's
thank you.
good. And I do hope that through this interview, people get curious. Yeah, are you curious? Are you curious to see what type of product she's selling?
And I'm always changing it. I'm always getting like kind of depending on what I'm interested in. And
Mhm.
I really love I feel like it's calming when you come in and the store is, clean and organized, and people kind of get rejuvenated,
Mhm.
or it brightens their day to come in. And, and also like I love some self-love, buying something for yourself.
Mhm.
I always tell people, I'm like, don't feel bad about it. You're gonna love whatever you pick out for yourself. You need it, and you'll use it. And it's gonna bring you joy every time you wear those earrings or those bracelet or whatever, because it's perfect for you. And
Yeah.
you know what you like the best. So I'm always like, don't feel bad about buying it. It'll make you happy.
A weird question. I
Yeah.
know I promise not to give you this, but this one is an innocent one. It's
That's
an
okay. I
innocent
like
one.
a weird question. I
No,
like it.
it's what is self-love for you?
It's a good question. I like it.
Using your business model, what is
Uh-huh.
using your business? What is self-love? Because you're right, there's a lot of emphasis about buying for others,
Uh-huh.
but there's no. Some people are really comfortable buying for themselves.
Yeah.
That's no question.
Yes,
But
yes,
then it
yes.
is also about, like you said, the candle.
Yeah.
I love candle making myself.
Yes.
So I love the candle idea, for
Uh-huh.
example, or the
Uh-huh.
lotions or earrings.
Uh-huh.
But it's also that joy, like you said, about just doing something that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words on you, so
Yeah. Well, I have come to realize that self-love is different for everybody. And it's
mhm.
not like my best friend loves to take baths. I hate taking baths. I think that is gross. Like I hate it. And she loves it. And I'm like, I love it for you that you love taking baths,
Mhm.
and I love it for me that I never want to do that again.
I like that. I really like that. I think that's one of the best explanations you can ever share. That they how different we all are and how we all
Yeah.
experience joy in many different ways.
Yeah. And so I love writing. I love lighting a candle. I like sitting by the fire. I like reading.
Uh-huh.
I mean, sometimes but I love, you know what I love? I love playing in my store. I love merchandising it. I love buying. I design a lot of the products and I love to do that. So, although it is my business, it's also kind of my hobby and my passion. So, like, self-love for me, I like to work in my store.
Yeah.
I have fun there.
Yeah.
It's not like you think of work like painful. It's for me, I'm like, that's my happy place.
Mm-hmm.
I like it there.
Yeah.
I like to go there because I get to help other people like showing love,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I mean, as long as my kids are happy and being taken care of and I know they're,
Okay.
safe and whatever, I want to be at my store. I don't want to be anywhere else. I like to hang out with my friends. That's also, self-love and,
Mm-hmm.
getting together with friends and stuff. But I like that I have created a life that I don't have to get away from. I don't, I like to take vacations and I like to go places, but it's not like I'm waiting to get away from my
Yeah.
life of my work.
Yeah,
So
and then it's a very special thing to have,
it is.
and it's a very special gift
It
that
is.
you
Yeah.
have there, and it is great. You're very inspiring. I hope
Oh,
that you know
thank
that
you.
you're very inspirational.
Thank you.
Well, our minutes have been up already, and
Oh,
so that
wow.
was it was a
That
quick
was
one.
fast.
I know, and
Yeah.
it is a thing that I think that when you are loving and caring in many different ways, either to give others but also to yourself. It's just you, like you say, you're in this zone of everything is okay.
Yeah.
And I hope that you feel comfortable sharing your story. I hope everyone got curious and see that that is not just the object that you've seen, but there's more to it, the way you see, and that is
Yeah.
more story. The backdoor story of why she's here in the family and why it's important to her. And then not only that, but have that magical this dust flying around and everything that you possibly be buying. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank
And I
you
hope
for
that you
having me.
and
Appreciate it.
oh, thank you. And then for everyone, please know that this is about connecting each other, and I hope that you were able to connect with her today. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Our Highline Voices, 106.5 KQWZ LP FM. We envision ourselves sitting at a round table where no one is the leader and stories are heard respectfully, regardless of gender, age, sexual orientation, disabilities, or ethnicity. Our mission is we collect, preserve, and tell the stories of the Highline region and its people. We want to extend our mission outside the walls of the museum. Our Highline Voices represents us all, honoring our past, celebrating our present, and uniting to cultivate our future. This project allows us to reach out to demographics who might be unable to visit the museum. People with disabilities, low-income families, people who don't trust museums, and more. In partnership, we are launching a locally programmed new radio station at the museum, featuring recorded and live Highline's heritage, history, culture, arts, and more. Are you interested in sharing your story? Email director@highlinemuseum.org.